What is up, guys? In today's video, we'll be talking about the craziest weather pattern we've seen in a very long time, and severe weather season is back. Let's get right into today's video. Now, the first thing I did want to mention is we do have an ongoing storm system that is impacting areas like Kansas, Missouri, into Indiana and Ohio and Illinois regions that is going to be dumping a few inches of snow. To be a very heavy, wet snow because it's not going to be that cold outside in much of these regions, and it may mix in with some sleet and ice. And this is going to impact areas like Topeka and St. Louis. If you've seen that blue, that's winter weather advisories being issued. Columbus, Indiana, Bloomington, Cincinnati, all going to be impacted by the system, and let's get into that. This storm system is already ongoing across much of Kansas and Missouri, and actually has been reports of graupel and sleet in areas like Kansas City combined with thunder. There's actually some very heavy precipitation with this system that is allowing there to be thunder while it's sleeting in much of these areas in Missouri and Kansas. I wouldn't even rule that out in areas like St. Louis, Missouri, later on into the nighttime hours, that we do see a little bit of thunder mixing in with some of this sleet. Maybe not as much because it will be getting into the nighttime hours, but the models definitely are hinting that that is possible there. But this snow is really going to break out more. It's a lot more like rain right now. But in the next few hours or so, it's going to start to get cooler outside because it's going to be the nighttime hours, and we're going to see a lot of the switch over to snow. So we'll see. It's really close to the rain here. It's very uncertain in St. Louis whether we see more sleet or if we do see that heavy, wet snow and wherever that banding sets up. All I know is it's going to be heavy. It's going to be very heavy, but it's going to be very warm. The ground's still going to be warm, so it won't stick very well. But it's going to be so heavy that it might be able to overcome that. And it's probably going to start sleeting or snowing with the heavy, wet snow around 10 or 11 p.m. in St. Louis, and will last for a few more hours. And then we'll probably taper off by 2 in the morning-ish. It might start out as rain, and then it'll switch over to sleet or snow in St. Louis, Missouri. And then, yeah, and it is possible that St. Louis is in that band. I am thinking the prediction is probably around an inch or of snow or sleet in St. Louis, but there is potential that a band moves through St. Louis, Missouri, and brings a lot more snow to that area, around 2 to 4 inches. So we definitely do have to watch for that. And areas north like Springfield, Illinois, could also see, is probably going to see more on the snow side of things, and could see the potential for a little over 2 inches of snow, especially areas in northern Missouri. And then once we get later in the morning hours, some of the snow is going to extend to areas like southern Indiana and Indianapolis regions, dumping some snow. And we could even see some freezing rain in parts of southern Indiana that could cause some impacts there that I am watching on the models. So if you're in areas like Bloomington, I would have to be paying attention for some freezing rain issues. Same thing in Cincinnati in the morning hours on Monday. This could definitely bring some problems to the morning commute in Indiana and Ohio, as it's going to be snowing during the morning commute on Monday, and there could be a lot of snow rolling through areas like Cincinnati Monday morning. So a lot of those areas could definitely see some snowfall impacts from this. This isn't a huge impactful winter storm, but there's definitely going to be some snowfall with this system that is going to be impacting these areas. Up to an inch of snow probably in St. Louis. The forecast is definitely very minimal due to that sleet or snow. Definitely not a lot of snow with this. Cincinnati, we could be seeing a little over 2 inches of snow potentially from the system. Indianapolis, up to an inch of snow. In Springfield, Illinois, up to an inch of snow, all from this system. But Kansas City, really not much. Now, if we look at the severe weather side of this, the severe weather is already starting to ramp up as we do have a slight risk of severe storms in areas like southern Oklahoma. And this is going to pose the isolated risk that we do see some hail with this system. We do have a 15% chance of hail, and I do think there is potential that we do see an isolated corridor in southern Oklahoma, really close to Oklahoma City, where we could see up to 2 inches in diameter of hail. Now, this isn't going to cause some extreme tornado risk or anything. This is just going to be mainly a hail risk. So if you're in these areas, make sure you are prepared, as there definitely could be some hail that is rolling through those areas today. And if we do look at the models for that, it definitely shows in the recent models that we're going to see some storms breaking out here in the next hour or so, and is going to bring that definite potential for some hailers. Look at that in parts of Oklahoma. It doesn't show it's going to be anything super significant like damaging winds or tornadoes, just mainly a hail threat, as there's not going to be much instability. If you look at the instability, it's very, very minimal. This is really based off of shear specifically. That's why it's only going to be a hailer, and it's going to be basically just surface based. So yeah, that's basically what we are thinking in southern Oklahoma. Now, the last thing about the weather that is going on across the next few days or so that I did want to mention is we are going to see some isolated ice impacts in more of these mountainous regions and parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia areas, where we could see a little over 1/10 of an inch of ice in parts of West Virginia and basically west central portions of Pennsylvania, where there could be some isolated ice impacts going into Tuesday morning. So this definitely could cause some big time issues to the roadways and the morning commute and the afternoon commute on Tuesday. So I definitely will be watching this if you are in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, as that storm system that is rolling through areas like Missouri right now is going to really traverse over towards the northeast later on. But it's not going to cause much in the way of snowfall impacts, maybe just a little bit of snow in areas like the northeast, but really not much. But that freezing rain potential is definitely there. Now, the big picture that you guys all need to know is that a massive weather pattern change is coming, and we're going to see some consistent, like a constant deluge of storm systems rolling through the same areas over and over and over again. And it's also going to be combined with some very, very warm air that we are going to be seeing across the next 2 weeks or so that is going to bring our severe weather risks that we are going to be having. If we look at the GFS, it's just a constant amount of storms. We get a storm system on Tuesday and Wednesday across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and then another one on Saturday, and another one. It's like consistently just rain after rain. Then we might even get a massive storm system on March 10th and 11th that I do think is going to pose a severe weather risk then too. And it's just constant storms over the same areas over and over and over again. And look at that rain. This is another thing I did want to mention. We're going to be seeing a ton of rainfall with this. If we do zoom into a bigger picture, right there, we're going to be seeing a lot, and I mean a lot of rain with this system. Areas like Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Oklahoma, areas like Arkansas, Texas, anywhere in these deep red and the brown areas are going to be seeing a ton of rain from the system. That brown means 5 inches of rain on the blended models, which blends every model together, is showing that in the next 11 days, we're going to see 5 inches of rain in all these areas. That is a crazy signal, because a lot of these areas are going to get more than this, even potentially. So that is a wild picture that it's got this broad of an area seeing this much rainfall over the next 10 days or so. And that's why I'm very concerned that areas like Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, areas in the Ohio Valley and Deep South are going to have some significant, and I mean significant, issues in the way of flash flooding, as these consistent storm systems are going to be rolling through the areas over and over again. That is definitely going to lead to heavy rainfall and flash flooding risks, and that severe weather threat that we are going to be talking about. And look at that, just a ton of rain in these areas. St. Louis, Missouri, Little Rock, Arkansas, for areas Memphis, Tennessee, Indianapolis, all those areas are going to get absolutely slammed with rainfall from this. And severe weather is really ramping up. We're getting to springtime severe weather season. And the first thing I do want to mention is we're going to start seeing big time severe weather threats. Look at that moisture that is kicking up from the Gulf of Mexico. We're seeing some moisture being vected very far north for this early on in the season. And look at that, March 4th, we're already going to be seeing some severe weather in parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas regions, and maybe even and look at how high up that moisture. We're seeing 60-degree dew points as high up as Iowa on March 6th, and that's where we're going to be seeing a lot of severe weather on March 6th. And look at this moisture. It just keeps going and going and going into March 10th. That's why I'm thinking we're going to be seeing a lot, and I mean a lot of severe weather over the next few days or so. And the Storm Prediction Center is definitely 100% agreeing with this. They already have a day 4 SPC outlook in effect with a slight risk of severe storms in effect across portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas regions where we could see a threat for wind and hail. I'm not thinking the tornado threat is going to be as prominent with this system, but it definitely is going to be possible on March 4th. And then not just that, on day 6, an even bigger outlook, which I'm definitely getting more concerned about this one, for the potential for damaging winds, hail, and maybe even tornadoes from Texas all the way up to Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, and Missouri regions, all under the gun for severe weather. And this could expand or shrinken, and we will get more details. All this is very far out, but the fact that the SPC is the Storm Prediction Center is hinting at this severe weather threat this many days out shows that they're very confident that we're going to be seeing some significant severe weather over the next few weeks or so, including on Friday, March 6th. So definitely a lot of severe weather is coming, mainly in the Ohio Valley and Deep South. We are in these yellow regions. We really don't have too much specifics yet. There's going to be a lot we're going to have to break down over the next few days or so, a lot of a lot more things we're going to have to figure out before we really get more details into the exact threats, where areas that are going to see the most significant severe weather and stuff. But if you are in the yellow areas, then definitely be weather aware over the next week or so. And we're probably going to be seeing more and more severe weather threats over the next few days or so that are going to be coming out across many of these areas. Alright, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Definitely a little bit of a snow system that is going to be impacting areas like the Ohio Valley today into tonight into tomorrow, and some ice in parts of the Northeast. Not too impactful, but definitely be paying attention to it and don't let your guard down if the roads do get impactful across many of these areas. And also there is an isolated severe weather threat for some hail in parts of southern Oklahoma today into tonight, so definitely be weather aware if you are in southern Oklahoma areas like Oklahoma City, Lawton areas. You need to be prepared there. And then in the future, the weather is going to go absolutely nuts. Very active period is coming. Extreme flooding, any extreme flooding is possible in Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. All those areas in the Ohio Valley are going to be seeing a lot of flash flooding potential. And even severe weather is going to ramp up, and we will get more details on that in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and bye everybody.